2 years ago, we embarked on this journey by forming an AI exploratory committee made up of elected officials and several CIOs. Everyone recognized that generative AI, especially, was taking the world by firestorm. And they were feeling a little like we've got to be better in providing education and direction for our counties.
From Tyler Technologies, this is the Tyler Tech Podcast, where we explore the trends, technologies, and people shaping the public sector. I'm your host, Josh Henderson. Thanks for joining us. In this episode, we're joined once again by Rita Reynolds, Chief Information Officer at the National Association of Counties. As a longtime advocate for secure, sustainable, and resident-centered digital infrastructure, Rita shares key insights into where counties are headed next. We caught up at our annual Tyler Connect conference in San Antonio to talk through NACo's 2025 tech priorities, spotlighting AI, IT modernization, and workforce retention. We also explore the AI County Compass and several hands-on initiatives helping counties turn strategy into action. Rita's got a lot to share, so let's get into it. Rita, it's great to see you again. Thanks so much for joining me.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to be here today and share what's happening with the counties and technology.
Always love chatting with you. So let's get started, Rita, with talking about the technology priorities published for 2025. Can you share a few of the key areas of focus and what they reflect and where counties are headed?
Sure. First of all, this particular effort has been going now for 6 years. Each year, we will meet with our County Technology Advisory Council and identify the top 10 priorities. We then share those out on our NACo Tech Exchange, which consists of over 1,200 county IT leaders. We also share the survey with the IT standing and several other policy steering committees. The purpose in that is to see if we've missed anything from the technology priority perspective upcoming for that next year, but also to validate, yes, these are the top 10 priorities. And by the responses, we're able to prioritize them top down. What we've found is that over the past couple years, the priorities have been pretty much the same, but they've shifted or moved in either up or down in the priority list. I will say that the cyber priorities are number one and have been number one for at least 3 years, 4 years running. And of course, that's a given in our environment that we live in now. The couple that have moved up are the talent recruitment and retention, for example, did move up. And we know that that's a result of the developments and around the emerging technologies with artificial intelligence and generative AI. While AI is not new, the generative part is. And the counties are seeing opportunities as well as challenges with implementing solutions that they actually may not even have a choice on because the corporate partners are automatically adding those components in. And so that circles back to cyber. Artificial intelligence did not come out as a standalone priority because it affects almost all of the 10 priorities. So as I mentioned, cybersecurity as well as IT, talent and recruitment and retention, but also modernization. And there's 10 of them. I'm just going to cover this last one on IT modernization. That has moved up in the priorities, one, because of security issues, but also because of AI, it's now a lot more feasible and less expensive to start modernizing some of their legacy systems. There's a lot of other information there. And if you go to NACo, if you do a search for NACo Tech Exchange, you'll get to that list of 10 priorities.
Great. There was an area of focus that stood out to me as this emphasis on support for rural and smaller counties as well. Why is that so important right now? What can you tell us about that?
Sure. That's a great question. And that is a priority given that 80% of our counties out of the 3,069 counties are small to mid-size and many are rural. So the access to a full-time IT person may be limited for them. They also, are, running into concerns around being able to secure their environment, whether they're small or medium size, and having access to that talent. So that's why it's a priority. And I'll share a program a little bit later that is helping address that with our rural and smaller size counties. But again, it's access to expertise and then having limited budget to implement some of the necessary technology, security, and monitoring tools that they need to implement, among other things.
Let's sort of transition now into the AI County Compass. You mentioned AI already in the priorities list. It's a very hot topic of conversation, has been for a little bit now, but it's a great resource for local governments trying to understand how and when to bring in AI into their operations. What was the goal in creating this document, and how are counties using it so far that you've heard?
Well, thank you for asking. Let me give a little bit of history. 2 years ago, we embarked on this journey by forming an AI exploratory committee made up of elected officials and several CIOs. And the goal was to better educate those on the exploratory committee, but then to also look at a path forward. Everyone recognized that generative AI, especially, was taking the world by firestorm. And they were feeling a little like we've got to be better in providing education and direction for our counties. The exploratory committee also then formed 4 work groups. They were work groups around policy and ethics and applications or use cases and workforce. And so we brought in expertise in those work groups. The goal was to produce some sort of publication that would cover a bit of the history and the definitions, as well as what at that time we were identifying as benefits to using AI and Gen AI, as well as the challenges, and then go into those 4 key areas and list out recommendations for moving forward. For example, with policy, a county should at least have some guidelines in place. And maybe that's through forming an AI committee. Maybe it's through using an existing technology committee within the county. But you definitely need guidelines, because I can assure you staff are using generative AI for personal and for work, even if it's maybe not allowed, quote unquote. So the goal was to produce the compass, and it's served us really well. We've distributed it to all 3,069 counties. It's available on our website. If you put in NACo AI Compass, you'll go to that web page. And then what we wanted to do was to continue the educational efforts. You asked how are counties utilizing the compass. We have, for this year in 2025, scheduled 4 AI regional forums. We've had 2 of them, one in the Northeast and one in the South. And it's been great to cover AI, but then to actually have hands-on interaction, exercises with the attendees, and then go into the discussion around how can I use this back in my county? How can I take the compass and develop the policy and or guidelines that we need to have in place? And we're hearing good feedback from counties that this has been a valuable tool for them. It's a journey, so we're not done.
Yeah, and it's wild. I think the last time we spoke was about a year ago, maybe a little bit over a year ago, and it was kind of the early stages of all of this. And now things have been rapidly progressing. Now with this compass, people are getting like a real insight into
Right.
into use cases.
We didn't have the publication at that point.
You did not.
We were knee deep in developing it for sure.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more of the Tyler Tech Podcast.
You can't always prevent disruption, but you can prepare for it.
That's right. And in our latest ebook, we explore how government agencies are building resilience into their operations, from cloud-based systems and automation to tools that improve response and coordination.
You'll discover real-world examples like how an emergency app helped residents in Louisiana stay informed, and how secure payment technology supports service continuity during a crisis.
It also walks through 6 practical steps to help you assess risks, modernize infrastructure, and strengthen your ability to adapt.
Download your free copy of Resilient by Design: How Technology Supports Government at the link in the show notes.
Because every government needs a roadmap to resilience, and it starts with the right technology. Now, let's get back to the Tyler Tech podcast. And now you mentioned those four touch points. So workforce policy, there's some ethical concerns as well when it comes to this type of thing. What are you seeing counties ask about most right now in terms of those areas?
We're hearing, where do I start if they haven't already, from a fair number, and we have some guidelines, some checklists. One of the key areas that we're encouraging counties to do is to assess your staff in terms of, are they using any type of generative AI tool? That's really important, and not meant to from a negative perspective, but from a positive, we want to understand. So we need to know where we should be providing education and guardrails as well. The other area that we are hearing from those counties who have started working and developing generative AI solutions is that chatbots are a very big thing. We know we've had the ability to do chatbots for counties for a long time, but the reality is now they can be AI driven. And so a number of counties have started embarking on that and have some publicly facing chatbots that are AI driven, and some have internal. The important piece in that is that the underlying data that the chatbot is referencing is accurate and up to date. And so some counties are just taking it slow and only doing it from an internal perspective. Others are allowing for the public access to a chatbot, but they're curating the content. And so it's not just go to my website and search. I won't use technical terms, but this is the underlying data that we know is accurate, and it's pulling information, and it's helping residents and constituents in the county get to the information faster in a more judicious way than what we've had in the past. So those two areas.
That's great. Yeah, it's certainly a helpful resource by the sense of things. So that's great for counties. Another thing or a program I know you're equally excited about is the CIO Reserves pilot. Can you explain what this is and how it's helping counties that might not have in-house IT leadership?
Thank you for asking that. This came out of a conversation about a year ago with our County Technology Advisory Council. And the concern that was raised and has been raised is that rural small counties need assistance of some sort, and they can't afford necessarily the IT full-time person or the consultant even. And at the same time, we were made aware that there were a number of CIOs that had retired or were retiring, and they wanted to continue to give back. And so we did research and figured out the best way to do a pilot. And so we have the opportunity for a county to fill out a NACo form to say they're interested in connecting with the CIO reservist. We set up a meeting. We have the CIO Reserves individuals who are interested in that county. Could be 2, could be 3. We have a pocket of about 6 right now. They go into a breakout room, they interview them, and they select the CIO reservist that they want. And so that's going well. We have 2 just started. So we have 2 engagements active right now. You may want to know, well, what are they looking for? And so we have heard repeatedly that we need assistance with implementation of .gov. That's a very important cyber defense, and there's a lot of counties that still don't have the .gov domain. We've also heard that I need some sort of IT assessment of where I'm at. Like I'm an elected official. We don't have an IT person. I don't know what I don't know. And so some work with developing a strategic plan, for example. And then they may have a managed service provider and they just want to know, is this the best use of my dollars right now? Or could I be looking at a different way to fulfill the technology needs? The sky's the limit. We know there's a lot of other needs out there, but that's what we're focused on with the pilot.
It's a really unique resource, it sounds like. And I love the idea of allowing people to kind of have the agency to pick, right? It's like, what would work best for me?
NACo's not making the choice. And I think that's important to know. because it really is between matching the CIO reservist with the county, but the county is doing that, not NACo. We want them to explain what they need. We may have to help clarify some things, but that's where the CIO reservist expertise comes in.
It's fantastic. All right, Rita. So another exciting initiative at NACo is this Modernizing Legacy Systems Challenge. And I love the idea of gamifying what can be a pretty daunting process for counties. What's the challenge all about, and what are you hoping counties get out of it?
Well, first of all, we have lots of conversations with county IT leaders and elected officials that say, I've got this old COBOL system that's still running, or I have this AS400. It still works. Why do I need to modernize? And then the IT folks in the room are going, is it secure? Do you know how vulnerable that system could be? The other comment that comes up a lot is efficiencies. How can we be more efficient? And so having this conversation with county IT leaders, and it was one of those moments where you had this thought, wouldn't it be cool to know what the oldest legacy system is in county government in the United States? And one county raised their hand and said, I have it. And so we talked about doing talked about a contest, but ended up calling it a challenge. And by the time this podcast airs, we will have kicked off the challenge. And the goal is to encourage counties to submit what they consider their oldest legacy system, describe it, why they need to modernize it, and then add some additional, if they can do a video or green screen screenshots, things like that, just to help make their case. And we are working with our Technology Advisory Council as judges, along with some of our corporate partners. We will be selecting, I'm not going to say more than one, but definitely one county where they will be identified as the oldest legacy system that was submitted. And then there will be some additional resources and services provided to that county to help start the strategy if they haven't already. And one of the strategies that we're seeing throughout this process is that artificial intelligence, generative AI, combination there can actually be used to help modernize the systems. So really important to do, because in the long run, the efficiencies are definitely not being realized with legacy systems. And then budget will be more optimized, but then also the county will have a more secure system that they're interacting with.
That's great. I love the interactivity of all of these initiatives at NACo. I think counties are going to be thrilled about this newest one as well. And now I want to kind of wrap things up with a pretty loaded question for you. But what are you most hopeful or excited about as you look at the year ahead for county technology?
Oh, that is a great question. I'm most excited about just seeing the growth of both county IT leaders as well as elected officials in working together and understanding the role of technology in maintaining the county infrastructure, but also the reality that there is a balance between budget and priorities. And I'm most hopeful to see increased partnerships, not just with a county to a county, but I'm hearing more and more with counties and cities and between the county and the state. And so that's exciting to watch, because with our environment we're in, the partnerships are key.
That's great. I think it's a great place to wrap up, Rita. Thank you so much again for joining us on the show, and for all the work that you and your team at NACo are doing to support counties on their tech journey.
Absolutely. Thank you again for having me today.
As we heard today, counties across the country are taking meaningful steps to modernize their technology, strengthen cybersecurity, and explore the promise of AI, all while staying grounded in resident needs and strategic priorities. Rita shared how NACo is supporting these efforts through tools like the AI County Compass, workforce-focused initiatives, and programs designed to help counties of all sizes turn ideas into action. If you'd like to learn more about the topics discussed in this episode, check out the show notes for additional resources. And we'd love to hear your feedback. Fill out the listener survey linked in the notes, or reach out anytime at podcast@tylertech.com. And be sure to subscribe, rate, and review the show so you never miss an episode. For Tyler Technologies, I'm Josh Henderson. Thanks for listening to the Tyler Tech Podcast.